My name is Mitch Heinrich. I'm an industrial designer and technologist, and I run a small design consultancy called What For Design that's focused on material transformations. So taking new nascent biomaterials and turning them into products and services that people really enjoy and seek out. Um, I was contacted by a client that was interested in doing a design project that was bolted on to a science project. So we were using a brand new material, actually multiple brand new materials, and trying to create something in the eyewear space that would really take advantage of the nascent properties of both of these new materials. And so it required a lot of deep expertise in fabrication, mold making, but also the adjacency of beautiful design, ergonomics, and transitioning from idea to production and commercialization. So after taking this project on and getting into it and doing some of the early stages of development, I realized that I was going to need some support, that it was not something that I could do with the small group that I had already put together to service this client. And so I went out and I found a couple of great guys that had exactly the right expertise that I was looking for. So I felt very comfortable in the design space working with the materials themselves, but felt that there was an opportunity to really grow the team's strengths in specifically eyewear design and understanding the whole supply chain there. And Alan and Kamal ended up being just the right fit, where they were able to supplement some of the professional design side of things, specifically around creating beautiful forms that are also manufacturable for eyewear, based on their background and experience in that space. And so as a collaboration, it really came together to a degree where our client was very, very happy with the full service that they were being provided. They were given not only proof of concept, early stage prototyping and design using these new materials, as well as fully detailed CAD, beautiful renderings, and a path to commercialization. So it ended up being a full suite, and I can say that only because of the collaboration that we put together between the two groups.
That was so good. I don't think I need to cut anything. I'm clipping you. That whole footage is awesome. Thank you. It's super kind of you to say.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
feel like
I don't know.
went full Will Ferrell and old school there, like on the podium, just like he just dropped right in.
And my boy Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking the truth, I do feel like I got in a little over my head taking this on, because I also got a full-time job in the early stages of this, and so it was a relief, I will say, to be like, okay, I got some super pro guys, they've got this, I trust them, and then we're able to deliver.
It's awesome. So you feel like that the way that we were able to collaborate was able to change the way you look at allocating your time and your business going forward, like to be able to outsource and duplicate some efforts or get expertise when you need it most.
Yeah, so what I felt like happened is being a small consultancy myself, and having a constellation of people in my network that I can really trust, it allows me to take on more meaningful, larger projects that are going to have more impact. And having you guys in that constellation of resources, for me, it like gives me the confidence that I can take on these meteor projects, that I can put the right group together, and that we can deliver at a level of professionalism that I couldn't do if it was just me, because or me and a couple of other folks, because you end up having to focus. And what I was able to do in this process was, okay, the piece of the project that I can really contribute the most, based on my background and experience, is this area, and now I have this extended team that complements me, and so we're able to design projects to a level of fidelity that a giant design consultancy would do, right? That they would charge probably 2-3 times as much, and so the client's getting better value. They're getting a more intimate experience because it's a smaller team, and they're not having to pay that huge consultancy fee.
Yeah.
So yeah, Go ahead.
Yeah, I felt like similar working with you. It's been a pleasure, and it's that nimble, being able to react and adapt and be nimble, uh, that does set us apart. I think ultimately from larger design firms.
And I would go ahead.
I was just going to say too, I think that working at larger firms and just thinking about used to call it tiers of management, and just what often the person leading a call with the client, you know, hasn't necessarily done that work. And
Yeah.
so they understand it because probably they are a designer or are deeply acquainted with design, but having not done the work, it still sort of limits how you can speak to it. So I felt like we could always, because we were doing the work, we're like, I feel like the impact that we had in our meetings with the client was just amplified because we were doing it. We could really speak to the things versus like, oh, let me go check with someone, So I feel like that was really powerful too.
Yeah, totally. Like there's also, based on your guys' deep expertise in the field and having been done it for a long time, and on my side as well, that there's a shorthand that we can provide. It's like, oh yeah, been there, done that. Here's what you actually want. Here's where I would try to coach you away from. And that's another way that the clients get a lot of value, I think. It's that we're not going to necessarily have to trip over every single landmine that's out there. We can get past a bunch of that, and we can go sort of like straight to a logical solution, or something that at least is going to work, before we continue to refine and get to that final product.
Well
Yeah,
yeah.
I think a lot of big consultancies charge a lot of big money, and it just has to do with the amount of overhead that they have. You get a big, beautiful space, you fill it with expensive people, and you got to keep all those people fed and paid, and the work ends up sort of, I would say, the work does not grow in fidelity and execution with the amount of money that you spend on the number of people on the project, the how delicious the snacks are in your micro kitchen or whatever. And so I think that for my money, this is the type of group that I would pay in order to do a professional project, because I know that I'm getting the best value. You're getting people that have experience, that are owner operators, right? That you're not actually going to somebody that layers of management, right? You've got to pay the project manager, who's actually not contributing to the work product necessarily, but is really just making sure that the people are staying on task because they've got 17 other projects and they're oversubscribed. That by going to a more bespoke, tailored solution like this, you end up getting people who can speak the work, who are charging reasonable amounts of money, and who are going to be motivated to make sure that you're happy, because there's you don't have a customer service line to call. There's nowhere to hide behind. Like you're giving them what they want. Otherwise, you're going to hear about it directly.
True. It's the reputation that's on the line for sure.
Exactly.
We treat it like it's our baby just as much, and we're partnering with that client just as much because we're just as invested.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I run my consultancy too is word of mouth, right? I'm not out there advertising. I want the people that I'm doing the work for to be so thrilled with the output that they're going to tell their friends who are also doing cool shit. And I think that that's how you tap into these interesting projects and interesting product spaces, that they're not out there seeking professional design support, but when they hear about their friend who just did this really cool project with these interesting folks, that the output was great, all of a sudden they start to consider what value it would bring to their product or their company. So like that word of mouth for me is huge.
Awesome. Same for us, for sure. Thank you for all your kind words.
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, I guess I just handed off, by the way, the